I raised my son with tired hands and hopeful eyes, cleaning strangers' houses every day, believing hard work could shape his future even when mine felt small, invisible, and endlessly burdened by silent sacrifices. Our home was tiny but warm with love. The cracked walls held laughter stronger than paint, while every meal I prepared carried prayers for him to grow kinder, braver, and wiser than difficult circumstances. When he studied late at night, I watched quietly from the doorway, feeling proud whenever he pushed through exhaustion, imagining his future shining brighter than the dim bulb hanging above our worn kitchen table. As he grew older, opportunities appeared like fragile windows. He climbed through each one carefully, promising he would return for me someday, lifting us both from struggle into a life where dignity required no explanation. The day he left for the city, I hugged him tightly, hoping my arms memorized the moment. Mothers know departures differently, carrying the weight long after bus engines fade into distant, rumbling silence. Time passed like slow-moving clouds, drifting above responsibilities I never abandoned. Every morning I returned to work, mopping floors and wiping counters, imagining his dreams growing somewhere far beyond my dusty cleaning cloth. I heard stories from neighbors describing his rising success, how he became confident, respected, and surrounded by people wearing polished shoes. Each rumor comforted me, though loneliness sometimes pressed heavily against my aging shoulders. Eventually, news arrived that he had become rich enough to appear in magazines. I stared at his printed smile, carefully touching the page, wondering whether wealth might change his heart or strengthen our bond. Despite worry swirling inside me, my pride remained larger. I imagined his joy whenever achievements came, visualizing him standing outside my door again someday, holding gifts, saying he never forgot the woman who raised him. One morning, after cleaning a large apartment, I sat near the window, deciding it was time to see him. A mother's heart cannot stay distant forever from the child she nurtured into adulthood. I wore my cleanest dress, simple but neat, smoothing every wrinkle with trembling hands. Hope and fear battled inside me, yet love pushed me forward, reminding me motherhood demands courage even after unimaginable disappointments. The bus ride felt long, carrying thoughts I'd tried to arrange neatly, though memories of scraped knees, bedtime stories, and whispered encouragements kept rising, highlighting how much of myself I invested into his life. When the city appeared, tall buildings stretched like giants. Streets buzzed with busyness I barely understood, but I kept walking bravely, clutching my small handbag, searching for the address printed carefully on worn paper. His office tower gleamed under sunlight, glass reflecting entire skies. I paused outside, feeling small yet determined, whispering a quiet prayer that he would hug me again rather than greet me with polite distance. Inside the building, polished floors mirrored my steps. People passed quickly around me, dressed sharply, speaking confidently. I felt like an outsider, but motherhood strengthened my spine, urging me forward toward the receptionist's desk. I asked gently if I could see my son, giving his name proudly. The receptionist studied me with cautious politeness, scanning my simple clothes, unsure whether someone like me belonged within such impressive surroundings. She finally made a call, her voice formal and unfamiliar. My heartbeat thudded loudly as I waited, imagining his face lighting up with recognition the moment he heard his mother had come unexpectedly. When he approached, confusion clouded his features. He paused, studying my face slowly, then asked softly, Do I know you? Those words stung deeper than any hardship I endured raising him alone.
If you want these in a numbered list, paragraph form, or rewritten with a dramatic UK storytelling tone, just tell me.
His question froze my breath, crushing years of memories into painful silence. Mothers imagine many possibilities, but never the moment their own child looks directly at them without even recognizing their familiar, loving face. I tried smiling, hoping my expression might awaken something inside him, but his eyes remained blank, politely distant, reflecting a world he lived in now, far removed from the struggles we once shared. Son, it's me, I whispered, voice trembling like fragile paper, yet he stepped back slightly, confusion deepening as if my presence threatened the polished image he carefully built in this sophisticated, successful life. The receptionist glanced at us nervously, sensing tension. People nearby watched quietly, whispers circling like cold wind, making me painfully aware of how small and out of place I appeared in that grand lobby. He cleared his throat, forcing a distant smile, the kind reserved for strangers seeking favors. He said, "I'm sorry, ma'am," emphasizing the word painfully, "but I think you've mistaken me for someone else." Hearing "ma'am" from the child I once carried through storms and sickness broke something inside me. Those two letters separated us more deeply than any physical distance we endured over the passing years. I stepped closer carefully, pulling a worn photograph from my handbag. Him, at age 7, missing a tooth, hugging me tightly. A memory captured forever, yet forgotten by the person standing before me now. He stared at the picture, brows tightening, lips pressing together. Something flickered briefly in his eyes, but pride, fear, or shame smothered it quickly, leaving only confusion and discomfort lingering across his polished appearance. He asked softly, "Where did you get this?" Voice trembling slightly. I swallowed hard, replying, "I was there when it was taken." His gaze drifted away, unable to meet the truth shining painfully. Tension grew heavy between us, squeezing my chest. Memories of carrying him on my back, comforting him during fevers, and celebrating his first steps collided with the cold reality unfolding in that moment. He finally whispered, "I'm sorry," though the words sounded more protective of his reputation than apologetic. Perhaps others watching mattered more to him than the woman who once sacrificed everything to keep him safe. My voice cracked as I answered, "I didn't come here to embarrass you." His eyes softened for a second, but he still kept emotional distance, trapped between two worlds he couldn't reconcile easily. I felt the weight of every floor I scrubbed, every meal I skipped, every night I stayed up sewing clothes so he could attend school with dignity. None of it reached him today. He took a step back, perhaps deciding this uncomfortable moment needed to end. Success teaches people to move quickly, but motherhood teaches patience. Though patience hurt terribly when the child forgets the giver. He said, "I have a meeting," quietly, guilt flickering briefly across his polished confidence. I nodded, understanding too well that I did not exist in the new schedule his wealthy world followed. Before leaving, he added, "Please talk to my assistant next time," not realizing the cruelty in those words. Assistants help with strangers, but mothers are not appointments arranged between busy professional obligations. He walked away quickly, footsteps echoing across the grand lobby. Each step felt like a piece of my heart falling, scattering across the shiny floor where countless important people walked confidently every day.
I stood alone, clutching the photograph, my fingers trembling. Heartache rose like a wave I couldn't stop, but no tears came, only a numb ache that settled deep inside my tired, aging chest. Slowly, I turned toward the exit, feeling invisible among the busy crowd. Yet even in heartbreak, a mother's love remains, carrying silent hope that someday recognition might return, even if painfully late.
That evening, I walked home slowly, carrying heartbreak. Yet inside my chest, a small, hopeful spark remained, reminding me love survives, even when forgotten by the child once held close. Inside my quiet room, memories returned softly, showing moments when my son clung to me, trusted my guidance, shared dreams, and believed in the love shaping his early, fragile years. I sat on my bed, holding his childhood photograph, tracing his smile, remembering simpler days when recognition felt natural and love flowed before ambition carried him far from our world. Days passed quietly until one afternoon a hesitant knock touched my door, and when I opened it, my son stood trembling with guilt, filling his eyes and weakening his posture. He stepped inside slowly, avoiding my gaze, then whispered words admitting memories returned painfully after seeing the photograph, reminding him of hands that protected, guided, and held him during childhood. He held the picture gently, saying something opened inside him afterward, releasing memories, pushing truth back into his heart, showing him the mother behind sacrifices he overlooked during his rise. I listened quietly, letting honesty fill the room, understanding healing begins when pride falls and love rises, guiding hearts back together after distance formed between childhood warmth and adult ambition. When I touched his hand, he collapsed into my arms like the boy who cried after falling, remembering safety, comfort, and soft tenderness found only in his mother's forgiving presence. We sat in silence, letting wounds breathe, learning connection returns slowly when hearts choose truth over fear, giving memories room to settle gently between us, forming beginnings of needed reconciliation. He apologized sincerely, promising to rebuild trust brick by brick, knowing love cannot grow through gifts, but through presence, humility, gratitude, and choosing closeness despite past mistakes and emotional distance. I held his face gently, saying forgiveness grows through understanding, not perfection, reminding him consistency, kindness, and effort matter more than apologies whispered during moments heavy with regret and sorrow. He rested his head on my lap, letting tears fall freely, washing years of separation as though my touch unlocked memories buried beneath pressure, anxiety, and the image he maintained. In that moment, I realized motherhood teaches compassion even after hurt, reminding me love waits, listens, heals, and remains steady even when nearly forgotten by the heart it once carried. Evening light softened our room, painting warmth across walls, symbolizing renewal, reminding us healing forms requiring patience, honesty, repentance, forgiveness, and two hearts willing to choose understanding again despite pain. He spoke again, promising to return often, sharing meals and laughter, rebuilding routines, transforming regret into new memories, proving change begins when love grows stronger than pride, shame, or anger. I felt peace returning like gentle rain after drought, realizing forgetting cannot destroy truth shaped by sacrifice, tenderness, and devotion rooted deeply in shared years of struggle, growth, and victories. We prepared tea together, restoring forgotten rituals,
cups clinking softly, steam rising warmly, filling the room with familiarity, stitching fragile threads of connection back together through presence, conversation, and tenderness. He admitted success felt empty without someone to share it. Realizing applause, wealth, and recognition cannot replace unconditional love, nor fill the hollowness created when family bonds weaken beneath expectations. Before night settled, he hugged me tightly, promising never to drift far, choosing from now onward to honor love daily, proving relationships survive when nurtured courageously and consistently through time.